Okay, okay. So, hello everyone. This is Ansh, and today we are going to talk about several concepts like nihilism, value distribution, your whole your whole value pyramid that you have in your brain that is fixed since your childhood, and basically your subconscious mind. So, how does everything work, and why the idea of nihilism basically is spreading across the timeline just like this since last at least last 10 to 20 years. It's the idea is spreading, and then I'm going to discuss why nihilism is a destructive mentality, a destructive philosophy. And we usually associate nihilism with philosophers such as Friedrich Nietzsche, and though he was against it eventually. So let us talk about the whole value structure, this whole pyramid of value that I'm suggesting right now. So, what does it mean? It means that when you look at your whole life, your whole thought processes, when you have certain certain tendencies and certain inclinations towards one thought compared to the other, then that thought is placed above the other thought. Let us say you prefer going to play table tennis rather than going to eat ice cream with your friend. Okay, so that thought of playing table tennis with your friend is just a notch higher in its value than the thought of eating an ice cream. And that reason might be anything, that you are maybe suffering from a cold. There's that. So there is a link between an invisible link between all these thoughts, and that invisible links can be certain basic reasoning like why and how and when, and certain other these six W's like that, and it can be anything else. So all of this is ingrained in your subconscious mind, how your subconscious mind is basically trying to figure out your daily routine lives, how each and every small decision is taken in your life is determined by your value assignment to your whole life. Basically your thoughts, the thoughts are what matters, right? For example, if I must say, everything in this room or everything in my life, the shirt that I am wearing, it was once a thought. For example, I uh, first thought about buying a shirt or a t-shirt or anything, a vague thought. Then it developed into a more specific thought that I want a shirt. I want a shirt with buttons. I want a shirt that looks funky. Then it got more specific, and then when I saw it in the showroom or anywhere else, I decided to buy that one particular shirt. So that's how your whole uh, that whole thought to reality functions, right? So thoughts are very important, and since I have said that certain thoughts have a predominant priority compared to other thoughts, right? So you have this whole you have this whole um, bunch of thoughts in your head, and they are aligned with with each other in an order, right? Now, who decides that order? That order is predominantly decided or accepted, if I must say. That order is accepted by your subconscious mind since your childhood, and your subconscious mind will basically function, and it will give it will give commands to your reality, if you may. So it is very important that you have a good structure. Let us say you have a value pyramid. We see it as a pyramid, right? At the top of the pyramid is a hypothetical value in your life or a thought in your life that holds the most value. It can be, for some people, it can be God, can be the highest goal of any one person. That's the top. And when you go down, it becomes more and more fundamental. It gets more fundamental, and it gets uh, like lesser in thought value. Like it may be present all the time. That's how it is. May not be needed to attain what's at the base of the pyramid. We don't need to attain that because we might already have that, but it is also very fundamental, so we can't lose that. So those things can be, balanced within their values. So what happens is, when certain individuals, like young individuals, they are exposed to the idea of, nihilism, or I won't go deeply about what is nihilism. You know already that what is nihilism, right? There is one basic definition of nihilism. There are some specific definitions of nihilism, like the philosophy. What does it say? That life has no meaning, or what does it say? Some say that uh, uh, we don't, like, no intrinsic value in itself. The life or anything in this universe has no intrinsic value through the end or through the beginning. So these all things aside, that's, we'll consider that this is common knowledge. So when a person goes through this kind of changes in his brain, when a person goes through these kinds of setting, what that person basically experiences is, that person will experience this whole pyramid of the values crumbling down, right? Since one thought will not have a precedence over another thought, since all the thoughts of since the the major belief of that person will be that all the beliefs, all the thoughts have no intrinsic value, then by default those thoughts or beliefs will have kind of zero value. And since they have a zero value, they will just, linger around each other, and they won't have a precedence over one another. And that's the thing that our youth or anyone who follows this ideology eventually forgets. They don't keep it in mind. They just focus on making a belief, making a system in their head that no thought, no physical materialistic object, or a goal, materialistic goal, or even a spirituality goal has no intrinsic value. They just focus on this core nihilistic, tendency. They accept it fully. Some people, they go further. Some people, they stay at the basics. Some they accept that, okay, all the physical matter, they don't have any value. Some they go with their goals. Some they go even above spirituality, uh, towards spirituality. So the more further you go with this ideology, the more destructive it can become. I'm not talking about optimistic nihilism here. Optimistic nihilism is just a sugar coating of nihilism. It 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 in its own, it's just it is just saying that since nothing has value, why don't you just accept the absurd? So it is just a different name, kind of, over following absurdism. And we are not talking about absurdism here, right? We are not talking about absurdism. So what I'm trying to say is, when such a system of your belief, your whole conscious and subconscious mind are programmed to such a system, what happens is, you will not have a thought precedence order. You will not have a thought precedence order. So one thought will not have a precedence over another thought. So now what will happen? Now If I go and ask that person, hey, do you want to play a table tennis match with me, or you gonna go and eat some ice cream with me? That person, what do you think that person's reaction will be? He will be confused whether he wants to have an ice cream or play table tennis match with me. He will be intrinsically confused if he has adopted this system. Now that's a big side effect, right? And we ignore that. That person will not arrive at the conclusion that this confusion is due to his uh, hold of all of his beliefs. That person will think, okay, I'm just confused. Why don't you just tell me that we should go drink, have an ice cream or table tennis match? Then I will just have to suggest that, okay, just let's just go ice cream. I'm just tired. And that person will just think, oh, but I have a cold, right? I have a cold, so why didn't I just choose a table tennis match? But since maybe it doesn't matter if I have a cold or not, I'll just go with what's happening. I will just go with the flow, since I value absurdism, right? So that person will just not have his own uh, decision making ability. He will lose his decision making abilities slowly, slowly, slowly over the course of uh, uh, longer period. So that is what is happening. The whole pyramid is crumbling down, not exactly flattened, but it's crumbling. The whole values are not arranged in a systematic manner. And if they are not arranged in a systematic manner, a lot of difficulty is going to happen when the person is asked to make a decision. So a decision is made when one thought is preferred over another thought. Since our brain is continuously thinking on several other thoughts, usually it happens that we have to take some precedence, and that precedence have another whole dimension when we consider intuitive thoughts and logical thoughts. So that person will, if that person is extremely intuitive, then he will then half of those intuitions will be lost in the air, more than half of them. He won't be able to use his intuitive capabilities, his logical reasonings, and he will end up playing the other people's game. That's how it will happen. So in our youth, when we talk about youth, they are going a lot. They are going through a lot of changes, and there's a reason. There's a big societal reason why this is happening, as being mentioned by great writers. Since we do not have a great, let us say, a great purpose for humanity right now. Like, there are no great wars. I know there are some wars that are happening across the globe, uh, but in the stable societies there are no great wars, no great economic depressions, and no great venture to go out for, no great narrative out there. We have to rely upon ourselves, and we might get caught up with fake narratives, destructive narratives over the internet, and they are spreading like wildfire. The destructive narratives on the internet, they are just everywhere. They try to disengage your value assignment process in your thought, in your brain. They mess with that. And the whole concept of the uh, growing Instagram reels, uh, when people, they don't care about their life decisions and they just focus more on scrolling their Instagram. It's just because they don't have, uh, they don't really have the thought precedence whether they should scroll Instagram, or they should go and work or focus on their goals. Subconsciously we need that thought precedence. It's not just a conscious thing. In When we think consciously, we have certain kind of a thought precedence that, yeah, I should focus on my goals. But is it there subconsciously? Is your subconscious thinking the same way? That's the 90% of your brain, right? That's the 90% of your consciousness. The subconscious might not be thinking the same way, and it might not have any precedence order. That is why it will tend to automatically it will tend to watching insta reels, because insta reels will give you a dopamine, dopamine, uh, dopamine shootout. And the other fact is, it is easier to watch Instagram reels. You can open it in a few clicks, and it is much harder to think through your life, to have a certain goals, to have certain things that you want to do, to make some changes in your life. That's the hardest thing a person can do at some point in his life. 80% of the people, they are afraid of thinking. They don't want to think. Thinking hard is the worst thing they can imagine. They can avoid If they can avoid thinking hard, they will do anything. They will dance on someone's fingertips. They will accept their whole misery. They will go through all the hardships. If they have to go all physical hardships, they will just go through them without a flinch on their faces, if the other possibility is just thinking too hard in their lives, about their lives, because that is scary for most of the people. I want you to uh, not be scared of that. I want you to think hard about your life, to think through your whole value order. I'll make some more videos on how we can do that, like what exactly is this whole value pyramid. In this video, I just want to make you aware that something like that exists in your whole life. The whole video right now is a awareness video, where be uh, you will be just having some kind of an attention towards your subconscious, that 90% of the things in your life are happening without your conscious notice. And the great thing about that is, you can really change it. You can really program it yourself. Your conscious mind is just lazy right now, and it can really program your subconscious mind. That's how it will work. So that's what I wanted to say right now. I will make more such videos. I will continue. If this video gets more attention, I'll make more videos. Kindly tell in the comment section, what are the great problems that you are facing right now? What are your life problems? Anything you want to share? Your thought processes, your how you think, how you react to things. What problems do you face when you think of, your problems about your life? When you go through some difficulties, what is the thought process when you go through some difficulties in your life? That's what I want to ask. Thank you.